the future of the world is peaceful. I believe in unity and diversity, and that we're going to find a way to live in harmony with one another, and there will be a just society. It's a prayer in Sanskrit. It's for peace. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamadaya Purnamava Vashishyate. Hi, my name's Alizah Whitney Johnson. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm an actress and I teach health and fitness. Shanti. I am creating it through teaching, through the arts and media, creating content that is inspiring and makes people think about their reality and what part that they can play, what role does each individual have. Having the experience myself as a yoga teacher, as an athlete, as a performing artist, I feel like it gives me the opportunity to deepen my understanding of how am I acting, how am I connected, how am I pushing myself every day to be a better person. I was born in Methuen, Massachusetts. I grew up in New England, all around New England. And I have a younger sister and a brother. We're both 2 years apart. So I'm the oldest of 3. And my mother's Jewish, my father's Catholic. However, we didn't really practice religion. We had a Star of David on our Christmas tree. And we celebrated Hanukkah, and kids called me a half Jew when there was like 3 Jewish kids, so I didn't really have a connection to religion as a child. We got to travel a lot. My father worked in the music industry, and I lived in a small town, but I would often go to concerts and get to be backstage and meet really wonderful, very well-known musicians. My mother's an All-American triathlete, so fitness was always a part of my life. I played a lot of sports, every sport, like sometimes 2 sports in one semester, and wasn't really into school, although looking back I wish I was more so. And I was more into boys and like girls, stuff that I look back and socially being, cool and popular. On the outside, it looked like we had a perfect family. We had this big house and had all the pieces that seemed to be right for an American family. And yet it was really challenging. Like, I just didn't understand how my parents handled certain situations. And I felt very isolated. I felt like I was the black sheep of the family. I knew that there was more to life, and I felt like I wasn't understood, and it was really hard. Like, I was always blamed for things that I just didn't have bad intentions, but it seemed to be always my fault. There's many situations that I experienced that the whole time, really, as a child. One situation, I remember I was like, I don't know what I did wrong, but I was bad for some reason. It seemed like it was the middle of the night, but it was my punishment to stand at the front entrance of the door in the dark while everyone was sleeping. And I remember wanting to leave and hearing my mom and dad argue from their room, and my mom be like, just let her like go back to her room or go to sleep. And my dad like yelling and saying like, no, she has to stay there. And just thinking like, doesn't make any sense, you know? Why should a child be punished sitting, you know, at the front of the house? Like it didn't make any sense to me. So again, there was many occasions where like I'd be cleaning outside because that was my punishment, which cleaning is it's virtuous to be cleanly, you know, so it's a positive thing. You should be happy to be of service. And I just remember being punished to clean and think like, they're wrong, like something's wrong. I didn't really have that much fun with my sister and my brother growing up. I look back at pictures and it seems like we were joyful, yet I remember how I felt inside, and I felt very isolated and misunderstood. And as the oldest of three, you're supposed to be the role model, and I felt like because I was always wrong, and there was maybe other expectations of me for some reason, that I wasn't playing the role that I needed to play for them. And that really hurt because I had a lot of love for them, yet I had a lot of frustration with my parents. And the way that unhappiness came out was in anger, was in frustration. And so I was rebellious and I think mean to my sister and my brother, and distancing myself from them to kind of like feel relief of like, I don't know how to handle this, and this is my way of letting go of that tension and that anger. So I knew it was wrong, but I felt a relief from it. As a kid, I found joy in acting. I found joy in creating situations because it detached me from what was happening at home. So even as a child, I would go out. We had a big yard and a pond and a meadow behind our house, and so I would create situations in the house as well, like getting kidnapped and stuff. I would just create these scenes, and that's how I felt joy. You know, I would also make up songs and take out the emotion in a song. I didn't go to school for acting because I thought that I should go to school for business. Both my parents are entrepreneurs. And I thought that that's what I should do and that's what I have to do. So I went to American University, and then I transferred from American University to John Molson School of Business in Montreal. It's part of Concordia University. As a young adult going to school for business in Montreal, I lived on the plateau, I had a dog and a cat, I had a part-time job. It seemed like I had all these pieces of the puzzle together. On the outside it looked good, which is always my thing. And yet I was so unhappy. I felt like something was missing. I felt like I'm doing all of these things, but it doesn't feel right to me. And so to numb that feeling, I would party a lot. And I worked in the nightlife industry as well. So I just was escaping. I actually went on Birthright, which is a trip to Israel, because my mom's Jewish, I'm Jewish. So I got to go and was partying a lot. And the last day of the trip, we were in a taxi on the way back to the hotel, and there was two guys that were gonna go do drugs at the hotel. One girl was concerned about this, and she was sober, and I turned to her, like I was drunk at this point, and I turned to her and I said, they're gonna go do drugs. And I hadn't done this stuff before, but because I was drinking and not feeling good, like I just wanted any escape. So I turned to her and I said, they're gonna go do this, and she said, are you going to? And I think I didn't even say yes. I think I just nodded my head. And she stops the cab, runs into the hotel, because we were close at that point. The counselors of our trip sat me down, and being a good actress, I was like, I didn't know they were gonna do this. I don't know what was happening. And I just didn't take any responsibility. I ended up sleeping outside on a mattress on the balcony, watching the sun come up in Tel Aviv. It was surreal. And so the next day I apologized to this girl. And so when we started talking about my lifestyle, she said, there's something that's not right, I think, about this, and if you ever need help, give me a call. My friends are great, and I'd love to spend time with you. I'm very close with my grandmother, and so one night after that little awakening, I was back in Montreal and was walking my dog to the park, and I was on the phone with my grandmother, and I said, something's wrong with my lifestyle and I'm hanging out with the wrong people. And she said, you should meet some Baha'is. And so I thought, I'm always open to personal development. I've taught yoga, I was always into yoga. And I was desperate. So I said, yeah, I'm happy to meet new people and learn, And so she called someone who called someone, and that woman called her son, and her son left me a voicemail. And we went for pizza, and I was really attracted to his kindness and his way of being, and not knowing that I was meeting with him about the religion, didn't say anything about it. Him and his now wife with 2 kids, the 2 of them taught me the faith, and the more that I learned about the faith, the more it just made sense. It was already what I believed and made practical sense, and I felt a deep connection. When I would pray, I felt overwhelming sensations and experiences, and one specific time, that's when I really knew that this is it. John and his girlfriend left my apartment after doing Ruhi, book 1, and the whole energy in the apartment had shifted. So it was a dark place from being in a dark place literally in that time in my life. And all of a sudden I could feel and see like the energy of the whole space shifted, and it was beyond me. So I knew at that moment that there's something about this that I really need to follow. Studying the writings, I just knew that this is common sense and what the world needs. So I really connected with it on a very authentic level. And the first experience that I had really with the faith was, other than Ruhi level 1, was ISGP. And going to ISGP, I wish everybody in the world could have this experience of that education, because it just made so much sense as to why the world is in the state that it is and how we've gotten ourselves there, and also what's really important. Like, you study the individual, the collective, the family unit as the nucleus of society. What is a marriage? What is unity and diversity? What is the soul attracted to? So all of these concepts of this reality in a material and spiritual sense, it's just, that's life. Like, it was very objective and taught in a very objective way in relation to the writings. So there's no way I could have gone back from that, because the more I studied and going through ISGP from year 1 to year 4, I remember the last year, which I only did recently at Bosch, I was in the redwood forest sitting on this tree trunk, like this huge, like 100-foot tree trunk that had fallen down. And I'm sitting there looking up and just thinking, like, this is the truth. This makes so much sense, and people don't know it. And there's a reason that I know it. And whatever I can do to share that message, and for people to know, and for coming from a family that I wish that they had the faith. I wish that I had the faith. I remember the day that I got back from ISGP, I was locked out of my apartment. And I went to a Baha'i's house that I know, a mother in the community that's very well known, and they let me stay there. And I remember being in the basement of this house and feeling so much love and serenity. And I was like, wow, I'm literally in the basement. I have nothing, but I feel like I have everything, because I have this and I know this is the truth. So I so didn't care that I had nothing, because I had everything. Well, I believe that there's many people like myself that have felt trapped, had the answers within themselves and not really know what to do with it. So feeling isolated. I feel like there's a lot of people that have good intentions and feel isolated, and I really want to connect with them and support them and create a community of individuals that are making the world a better place. So for me, it's twofold. It's working on myself, it helps me, as well as collectively creating community and finding like-minded individuals. It doesn't matter your past. If your heart is searching, the answers will come to you like the breeze.